They say true love is rare, almost impossible to find in a world filled with heartbreaks, broken promises, and fleeting emotions. But once in a while, a story comes along, a story that reminds us that love is not only real, but powerful enough to conquer even the darkest storms. Today, on Love Life Guide, we share the story of a couple whose journey will leave you believing that true love still exists. Meet David and Clara. He was a quiet, thoughtful man in his early 30s, a school teacher who loved books more than parties. She was full of life, an artist, painting colors on canvas and laughter into every room she entered. Their worlds were so different, yet their paths crossed at a small community event. Clara had been painting live on stage for a charity auction, and David, shy as ever, had volunteered as one of the organizers. What started as small conversations about art, books, and the meaning of life quickly grew into late-night phone calls, shared dreams, and eventually a love story that felt timeless. They weren't flashy. They didn't post grand displays on social media. Instead, they built their relationship slowly, like a strong house, brick by brick. Within 2 years, they got married in a simple garden wedding, surrounded not by luxury, but by people who truly loved them. Friends and family said they seemed different, like they had found not just a partner, but a soulmate. But even soulmates are tested. After their wedding, life began to throw challenges their way. The first was financial strain. David's salary as a teacher was modest, and Clara's art business was unpredictable. Bills piled up, and the dream of owning a home seemed far away. The second challenge was even heavier: health. Clara was diagnosed with an autoimmune condition that left her weak, tired, and sometimes in constant pain. For a couple still newly married, the stress was overwhelming. Friends who once celebrated their love began to whisper doubts. How long can their marriage survive this pressure? Some even told David to think about himself, to walk away before things got worse. But David didn't. Instead, he stayed. Even when Clara lost her ability to work on her paintings, even when her bright spirit dimmed, even when their home felt heavy with silence, David became her rock. Yet the truth is, even the strongest rocks begin to crack under constant storms. David, too, grew tired. There were nights when he sat awake, wondering if he was enough, if their marriage could ever recover, if love alone was strong enough to carry them through. And then, something small happened. Something so simple, yet so powerful, that it changed everything. One evening, Clara, who had been too weak to paint for months, handed David a small canvas. It wasn't a masterpiece. It was just a rough sketch of 2 stick figures holding hands beneath a stormy cloud. But under the cloud, they stood strong together. She had written one line at the bottom: "As long as you hold my hand, the storm will never win." That night, David broke down. He realized that while he had been worrying about being enough, Clara had never doubted him. She didn't need wealth. She didn't need perfection. She only needed his hand in hers. From that day forward, David made a conscious choice. Instead of focusing on what they lacked, he focused on what they had. He began cooking for Clara, learning new recipes just to make her smile. He took her on short walks, even if it was just to sit on a park bench for fresh air. Clara, in turn, started recording voice notes for him every morning. Short words of love, encouragement, and gratitude. Even on her hardest days, she found a way to remind him that he was her safe place. If you're still watching, drop a comment with "I'm still here," so we know who's writing this out with us. Slowly, their home changed. The bills didn't vanish overnight. Clara's health didn't magically become perfect. But what did change was the atmosphere. Their marriage was no longer about surviving. It was about living together. David's colleagues noticed he smiled more at work. Clara's doctors said her emotional improvement helped her health stabilize, and the community that once whispered doubts began to whisper admiration. Years later, David and Clara are still together. Their love hasn't faded, it has deepened. Their story proves that love isn't about avoiding storms. It's about learning to dance together in the rain. So what can we learn from David and Clara? That true love is not about perfection. It's not about money, perfect health, or a fairy tale life without problems. True love is about commitment. It's about showing up, even when it's hard. It's about holding on, even when the storm feels endless. If you're in a relationship, remember this. Happiness isn't found in grand gestures. It's found in the small daily choices to love, forgive, and stay. David and Clara's journey is proof that true love still exists, and it exists in the quiet, steady acts of devotion we sometimes overlook. So, the next time you doubt love, remember them. Remember that somewhere, in the middle of the chaos of life, two people are still choosing each other every single day. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe to Love Life Guide, your home for stories that remind us all that love, real love, is still alive.